So the next person up is Deon Myburgh. Now, we expect people like Paula and Wendy to make a difference in education because that's their job. They get paid to do this. Deon is an ordinary citizen. Now, you all saw Trevor walking in earlier. He's been in many ways an inspiration, but also a problem for me, because people would say to me things like, we love what you're doing through Partners for Possibility, but Carte Blanche said, we love what you're doing through Partners for Possibility, but it's not worth talking about, because if you had Trevor Manuel involved, then we would be willing to cover you. So I want to say to all those people who don't get excited about ordinary citizens doing things, come listen to Deon Myburgh and then tell me whether you don't think we need more Deon Myburghs and less Trevor Manuels. Deon.
Thank you so much, Louise. What a gracious introduction. So, what are we doing as individuals? What are we doing as corporate companies, and what are the possibilities? Here comes along a groundbreaking organization called Partners for Possibility that have this well-structured and amazingly orchestrated program that takes a principal from an underprivileged or under-resourced school that predominantly has a teaching and educational background. And they take a business leader from an organization that has skills in areas such as finance, IT, HR, legal, marketing, or at least access to these, and they put them together in this amazing leadership development program. What is very important about this program is it's co-reciprocal and co-beneficial. And as I want to share, and I'm honored this afternoon to share my journey and our journey as a business leader from Mediclinic, and with the school called Cluttersville High School. And for those of you that don't know, Cluttersville is a community just outside of the Stellenbosch area. It is a community that has got a number of socio-economic problems. And at the end of 2017, I was asked by Mediclinic to be a business leader, and I was fortunate enough to meet an amazing leadership facilitator, Jessica Batts, who is here this evening, who supported myself and the principal through our entire journey. I think what is evident here is that many of these systemic problems that have been mentioned around gangster activity, unemployment, socioeconomic problems that these communities are faced with, and many of them seem insurmountable. So I was fortunate enough to be partnered with an amazing principal called Mr. Dorian Meyer. At the time of meeting him at the end of 2017, he had been a principal for less than 6 months, teaching for 31 years, Cluttersville High School, 1,152 learners, and many challenges within the school and the community. Drug addiction, low percentage of students that actually go on to study further, low pass rate, and many challenges. So during this wonderful, life-changing journey, we put together a SWOT analysis. And together with the principal, you as a business leader and the principal sit together looking at what are the strengths, the weaknesses of the school and the community, and you come up with what we call a school improvement plan. So during this journey, we identified some of the problems which are not unique to Cluttersville community within Stellenbosch, but in many other communities of under-resourced, underfunded schools. And what we did is we said one of the first things, and Warda mentioned it earlier on about children, when they hear a firecracker or something, they duck due to the fact that they cannot learn in a safe environment. And when I went to Cluttersville with a colleague of mine, Mr. Kevin Pochenpoel, who's here this afternoon, we saw these children cowering because the gangsters would throw rocks and bottles through the windows. How can teachers teach, and how can students learn in an environment in which they feel unsafe? So we embarked on a project to raise funds, and with Mediclinic and one of our IT providers, we got a clear view fence put up down the side of the school. What was very important about this is that the Western Cape Education Department, seeing this, then came to the fore and funded the rest of the security fencing around the entire perimeter of the school, showing again how business, in partnership with the school and the Western Cape Education Department, can make a difference. We also had one of our partners sponsoring a full CCTV system. Comments from the students and the teachers: we feel safe, we can learn, we can concentrate on education because we feel safe. The impact that this had on the learners and the teachers is immeasurable. The next thing is, how do we help these students see beyond their current circumstances? How do we create hope? And one of the things was to encourage students to study further, not to drop out of school. How do we create hope? So we embarked on creating a career expo, which we held for 2 days at the school, where we had grade 9, 11, and 12s and their parents. And we customized this in a very, very a nice, playful manner called Dare to Dream. You see a student, we see a future. And the strategy around this was to create hope, to show students there is hope beyond your current circumstances. The impact was so profound with this that we had students changing subjects. The pass rate at Cluttersville High went from the end of 2017 from 63.5 to 70.1% the end of last year. One thing that I think also to highlight was the amazing exposure that we got. And the spin-off of this was that we're now engaging with other NGOs, some of them who are here this afternoon, about packaging this, and because we've created a blueprint, and rolling this out with Partners for Possibility across the country. We heard Wanda talk about e-learning. A very interesting statement. South Africa will lose 5.7 million jobs if we are not digitally ready in 7 years. Microsoft recently said that 88% of educators have a clear strategy of using education in the classrooms. And as one thing that Dorian coined, my partner and principal, Mr. Dorian Meyer, is he said our learners come from underprivileged backgrounds and do not have the means to see the world. But with e-learning, you can bring the world to them. So this is a wonderful strategy which we've been working on about implementing e-learning. We were fortunate enough to have 2 classrooms sponsored by 2 of our suppliers, and we're currently in the process of raising funds to get all the classrooms e-learning ready, because we believe we need to make sure that our future generation of students are ready for this digital world. This is the world that we're living in. But where do we start? Change management begins with the educators. So at the end of December, we donated 40 laptops as MediClinic to all the teachers. The teachers have now said, we are changed, we are ready. We have now been changed in our mindset, and we're ready to educate in the e-learning manner. So we started by, first of all, targeting the teachers, and this has had a major impact on the way teachers view education and how they teach students. Mantella, one of our suppliers, Jermaine Brinkhuis, who's here, helped redo the IT classroom, which was absolutely phenomenal. First aid training. The teachers had never lived, in a community where there is a lot of crime. They'd never had certified CPR and first aid training. We provided this to 13 teachers who all passed and got their certification, making a huge difference in the way they care for the community and for the students. A wonderful spin-off that came from our Career Expo is one of our projects on our school improvement plan was to build a website and social media. And one of our representatives from our ICT department at MediClinic told the students on the career day, I know that Uncle Deon and Mr. Meyer said, we're going to build you a website, but we're not. We are going to help you and empower you. You're going to leave a legacy behind at the school. This website was built by the students of Cluttersville High School. Today, 13 children give up every Friday afternoon with this representative, with Vernon from MediClinic, who is helping them, and it's their Cluttersville's 40th birthday this year, and at the Red Tie event in August, their social media pages and their website will be unveiled, built by the students of Cluttersville. Somebody mentioned earlier on something as simple as chairs. The first time I entered the school and I saw the teachers sitting on these little grade 1 wooden chairs, but we had a storeroom full of chairs which we had got when we bought our building that we're currently in Stellenbosch. You cannot believe the joy on those teachers' faces when we transformed their staff room into what now looks more like a boardroom. This is a very heartfelt story, and when Mr. Dorian Meyer shares this, he often tears up because it's so emotional, close to home, and this is about the human dignity factor. He phoned me one afternoon, almost in tears. 14 of the 18 girls' toilets were not working. This is what they looked like. This is basic human dignity. It was coincidental that afternoon, a supplier of MediClinic Miss Kathy Stodel, phoned me and said, Deon, I would like to donate a sum of money. And I said, Kathy, this couldn't be a better time. With that money, this is what happened. We transformed those toilets and restored human dignity to those students of Cluttersville High School. The students said, Mr. Mayor, we thank you, we are proud. We took the executives of SPA last week for a tour through the school. In the first place, the principal took them to was the girls' and the boys' toilets. Because they look after them. They said, meneer, dit is onze toilette en ons is dankbaar. If I talk about our other touching stories, about the impact of individual lives and the difference we can make as individuals, when we tell and share these stories, they're often very emotional. We had a student, a promising hockey, grade 10 student, Lakeisha Miller, single parent, chosen for Boerland. She had to go and play in Pietermaritzburg. We needed 12,000 rand. Dorian spoke to me. I approached quite a few people. The next morning, Dorian phoned me in tears. Her mother passed away that morning. We had the money in the bank through Mediclinic. By the end of that week, Lakeisha Miller went on to win the player of the tournament. Best goalkeeper, Boerland came third. When I was invited to hand out the prizes for academic achievement, who was in the top 5? Lakeisha Miller. She wrote a heartfelt letter to me that I gave to people, and whoever reads it, I have to bring a toilet roll because it is so moving and heartfelt. Some of our suppliers here, Andre from Symbiosis and Jermaine from Mantella, sponsored student school fees for the year. The letters that we got from the head boy to say, my family and I do not have the pressure of financial worries. I can concentrate on my studies. Thank you. The humble, heartfelt appreciation. When we implemented e-learning, the Western Cape Education Department have a state-of-the-art local area network, but with no internet access. And I wrote a letter to Debbie Schaefer's office, to a number of people within the Western Cape Education Department. And with our support, within 1 week, we had 100 meg fiber pulled into that school to support the e-learning, which wouldn't have been possible if we didn't partner with the school in driving this. As I mentioned, the matric results and the impact. Just remember one thing, what Partners for Possibility in this program does. You don't only touch the lives of 1,110 students, you also touch the community and their families. So if we look at an average of 4 members per family, we are effectively touching 4,600 lives within a community. And this has become evident in what we see within the Cluttersville community. Then, of course, the impact as a business leader. I have never received such amazing feedback from people involved. The humility and the difference it makes to you as a business leader is of paramount importance. It has changed me forever. It has changed the way I manage. My staff say they don't recognize me anymore. It is really, as we mentioned, it's co-beneficial. You want to send your management team on one of the best programs in development and exposure, then put them on the Partners for Possibility program. It is the best program I have ever been on in my career. In closing, I would like to just share with you, this is the testimonial that Mr. Dorian Meyer wrote recently to say that the impact that Partners for Possibility and Mediclinic had on the lives, on him as an individual, as a principal, that it had on the teachers, on the community, and the learners. And as he says, they came to us. What it meant to this community for an organization like Mediclinic to come to them and to offer them this type of support. And as he says, I'll be ever grateful to Partners for Possibility, because Dorian always said it's about my students, not about me. And together, we as Mediclinic have a slogan, patients first. He says students first. Our core values were aligned. And henceforth, this wonderful, fruitful partnership that continues to this day. So if I can leave you with a last thought. An old Chinese adage says that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, one school at a time. All of you today, take that first step and join this program. Thank you.